welcome to Roofer's Coffee Shop Lunch and Learn. This is a new series that we're bringing to you every month that you can share with your employees, with other folks in your business, or even other contractors. It's going to be all about learning something new that can help your business. And I am so happy today to be able to welcome some people who really know what it's all about. So first of all, my name is Heidi Ellsworth, and I'm the owner of Roofer's Coffee Shop. So proud to bring this Lunch and Learn series to you. And today, I would like to introduce David Gardiner and Tiffany Newman. These two have taken on quite the challenge. David has led the team to expand from WTI, Weatherproofing Technologies Incorporated in the US, to starting Weatherproofing Technologies in Canada. David, if you could just tell us, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your career in roofing and how you got to where you're at.
No problem. So my name is David Gardiner. Like Heidi said, I've been in the roofing and waterproofing industry for over 16 years. Worked my way up, got my ticket, moved into the office in sales, and now I'm, I guess you could say, a service manager for WTC. Been with WTC since 2019 and currently based out of Vancouver, BC.
Wow. Thank you. Tiffany?
I've been in the roofing industry for getting close to 20 years now. I worked for a roofing contractor for a good number of those years and ran a roofing crew, and then was offered the opportunity to work with Tremco. So I work with Tremco and I work alongside WTC in Canada here. And I just provide contractor support, and I just try and help wherever I can.
I love it. So many contractors out there are expanding into new locations or maybe starting new divisions, but really to span to a whole new country, that's a large move.
Yeah, so when I came into WTC, it was kind of ground zero. We had one foreman in Calgary at that time and no other employees in Western Canada. We now have a team of 4 in BC, foremen in both Edmonton and Calgary, as well as established many new relationships with subcontractors. So we've brought in other roofing companies to help us kind of get acclimated to the territory. We brought on subcontractors that can offer cleaning services, plumbing services, mechanical services. So just making those relationships and really kind of establishing yourself in the community and establishing a reputation for yourself as well.
Echoing what David said, and trying to find the right people for the right jobs, and just the amount of work. I mean, the people that we have found have really all gone above and beyond what they were asked to do.
I think that's so important. You have to have somewhat of an entrepreneurial spirit to just take this and make it happen. David, as you were looking and you said you wide net, you really wanted to find the right people. Tell us a little bit more, just go a little bit deeper into that. Like what were you looking for and how did you find them?
Well, we were really looking for someone that was a culture fit. You spend more time with these people at work than you do with your own family half the time. So you really want to have that bond with the person, and it's got to kind of be a seamless transition in between conversations. And I think communication was one of the biggest things we were looking for. Somebody that can do the work, that's all fine and dandy, but if they're not properly communicating that it is done, or they're not hearing what you're saying, that's always going to lead to issues. So we just wanted someone that was a good communicator and someone that could follow instructions, and like Tiffany said, is willing to go above and beyond. That was a trait we were looking for as well.
Yeah. Well, and doing service work and really building those customers and getting out there, there's a lot of technology that goes along with that too, in reporting and just all of the tools. That it's a little bit of a different thing than putting on a roof. It's about repairing and making sure and servicing that roof. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so right, like you said, there's a lot of technology involved, especially at WTC. We're kind of a cutting edge. We like to think of ourselves as a cutting edge company. So being advanced in technology is something that would be an asset for sure. It's difficult to find somebody that's has good quality in both their workmanship and the technology. Generally, the older generation, really good roofers, not as comfortable with technology. whereas the younger generation, really comfortable with technology, but just doesn't have the experience that the older generation would have. So finding that person to marry that blend was key.
And when you speak about technology and new things, roofing back in the day was a lot of tar and gravel, and then it kind of went to torch on. And nowadays, the roofing industry has expanded so much that roofers need a huge amount of information that they keep in their heads in order to do all these different systems, because you could be on a new and different type of roof every day of the week now, and nothing's ever the same. So the technology that goes into roofing itself these days is huge, and it's a steep learning curve.
I really would like to go on and talk a little bit about some of your jobs, but David, you had a big job that came up and that you guys quoted and you won, and it was huge. So why don't you tell us about that job?
Yeah, so the job you're referring to there is the BGIS guardrail installation in Victoria. That job definitely has some challenges and some solutions that went along with those challenges. Site coordination for a government building is always a challenge. So providing proper notification of when we would be on site, duration of the project, and the necessary closeout documentation were all key points of the success of the project. When we were loading the materials to the roof, we only had one shot to get them up there due to road closures of a main street in Victoria. Unfortunately, we were hit with unexpected extreme winds that day, which prohibited us from getting the materials to the desired location. We were able, however, to load them to a lower roof area while utilizing our safety equipment to relocate the materials to the proper roof area. Once the original scope was complete, we were notified that the client needed an alteration to the existing guardrail in order to accommodate some exterior lights that required periodical servicing. Our team was successful in facilitating this request with prompt securing of the materials and an aggressive schedule to return to site and complete the project in its entirety. It did take great communication and collaboration to move the materials from that third floor up to the main roof area on the fifth floor. Whenever rigging is required for any items, communication becomes a major component for safety and success of the project. After we were able to relocate the materials, we needed to make up for this lost time. So this meant that staging and coordination of the guardrail installation became critical. We had a solid understanding of strengths and weaknesses of each team member, knowing which roles each of us had to play. Once the project was over, our crew had established a bond that has since carried over to many other successful projects.
Excellent. That is awesome. Job with the safety equipment and installing it, that is a whole nother level of being able to offer services to your building owners. And it can, maybe it's not a whole re-roof, but maybe you're servicing it and you realize they don't have the right safety equipment up on the roof, and it's an opportunity. So David, talk a little bit about that safety equipment and, you know, the guardrails, but you also, Tremco offers a full line of safety apparatuses for the roof.
That's right. Yeah. So Tremco offers many safety solutions, including guardrails, fixed wall ladders, stair crossovers for HVAC equipment, and skylight guards. We have the ability to supply and install these solutions, and we're always looking to make the building safer to access for all the trades, not just the roofers.
Right. When you think about window washers, when you think about HVAC, you think about just normal people getting on the roof, if they're supposed to or not. That kind of safety equipment is so important. And Tiffany, you've been supporting all of this, working with a lot of different project managers and regional managers on this. What are you seeing with this safety equipment and what building owners are thinking about it?
You know, sometimes, unfortunately, the roof kind of is the last thing people think of because people don't generally see it too often. But there are things that happen on the roof. There's many complex HVAC systems and things like that that go into buildings, and oftentimes one of the key components is usually placed at roof level. As a building owner, you're responsible for the safety in that building, and a lot of these building owners might not realize that when they send maintenance workers up on the roof, it's a real battle of trust, making sure that these guys have been properly educated and properly trained. And if you don't have safety equipment already installed, then you're kind of trusting that hopefully the subcontractors that you're hiring know what to do when they get on the roof. At WTC, we're able to educate these building owners and operators and kind of, go up there and provide them with an inspection or a roof safety audit and kind of show them the key areas of where there are hazards. And then WTC is able to work with them to kind of prioritize what needs to happen so that they can keep their workers safe, which is our first concern. And then second concern being that, they comply with the rules of whatever safety agency governs in their area. And then the nice thing with WTC is then we're able to self-perform on those contracts, do these installations. So it's really a great opportunity for a customer to have a very turnkey operation and get everything in line so that their workers are safe when they go up in these areas.
Really, like you said, this is a great offering for roofing contractors to add to their service and maintenance program or to their overall offering. Tiffany, as you're looking at that, how would you recommend, because I would think from a service and maintenance, you'll see this thing, you'll be able to submit it to the building owner and say, hey, have you thought about this? This is not safe. How have you seen that discussion with the building owners go?
We say a lot around here, we like to lead with safety. And so we want to drive that in the industry as a whole. It's so important as far as, there's insurance premiums and there's so much that goes into when things don't go right. And we want everybody to go home at the end of the day. So if we can continue to work to create this culture in the industry as a whole, and once they're educated and they know that this is available, it almost doesn't even have to be sold because it just makes sense.
Just makes sense. And that can be part of a service and maintenance program. So you're constantly talking to them about it too, which makes a big difference. I want to, really kind of end with that whole concept of culture. And a culture of safety, a culture of like what you talked about when you first started. So David, I'd start with you, is like, how important is that culture of safety that we see throughout Tremco, WTI, and WTC? And then how are you relaying that same kind of living that culture with your customers?
Yeah, I think it's actually a really undervalued part of it. I think the last few years, the industry has realized how important it is and starting to move in that direction, but we need to give it a good push to really get it there.
For everyone out there, I think you had to get some really great nuggets from this. So I would say 1, a culture of safety. 2, look at the safety equipment as an offering in your company to differentiate you and to get it out there. And 3, make all of this a part of your service and maintenance program. And you can see how starting this kind of division or new location can be so successful because of these 2 folks. David and Tiffany, thank you so much for sharing with all of this with us today.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. And please, everyone out there, continue to join us for these lunch and learns. We're going to come out with 1 a month, maybe more, you never know. But right now, every month, you'll have an opportunity to watch this over lunch, pour a cup of coffee, enjoy a little bit of time with your team, and learn from the experts in roofing who are out there. So until the next time, enjoy your lunch, and we'll see you next month.